Welcome to the Life Hacks Show. Life Hacks gives you proof hacks and tips for the best version of yourself. And here's your crash test dummy for a better life, Marcus Meurer.
Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Life Hacks Show, and today I'm not alone and doing a Life Hacks Quickie. I'm here with the wonderful Laura, and Laura is joining us, or was joining us, and is still here on the DNX camp on Lemnos. Welcome Laura, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here, and it's exciting that we're right now just looking right out into the sea, and it's a warm sunny day, so couldn't be better.
Yeah, great. I love it. I've already been on the ocean for 2 kiting sessions.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's just so cool to be here, but also even more cooler to be surrounded by like-minded people, together like 50 people internationally, everybody flying in from different parts of the world. So where are you located? Where are you from? Where are you now roaming around?
Good question. So I'm originally from Southern California. I'm from Orange County. You might have heard of it from, they had a television show called The OC.
No.
Oh, no, you've never heard of it? Well,
I don't watch TV at all. I don't have a TV.
It's a very dumb show. It was like sort of reality, and it was just like a bunch of people like, oh my God, like I'm going to go shopping and all this stuff. It didn't make a good impression of where I'm from. But yeah, and so I grew up in Southern California, and that was a great place to live. But I studied abroad in Germany for a year during college. So in the city of Göttingen.
Göttingen.
Yeah. You say it better than I do.
Yeah, but it's a famous student city.
Yeah. And I think Gerhard Schröder studied there, which is why we had a fast train that went right through it. And I guess backpacked all over Europe during that year, which was exciting.
Cool. How old have you been there?
I was in college, so I was like 20 to 21 years old when I was there. This was back in 2001, 2002.
So this is where you, for the very first time, breast some freedom and going out of your country and seeing the world? Well,
I had traveled a little bit before, but before that year in Germany, I really had the path of, I'm studying psychology. I love school. I'm going to do really well in school. I'm going to become a professor to get my PhD and just kind of work in that academic track. But after I lived in Germany for a year and traveled so much, I realized the world is so much more open, and it just completely changed my life. And actually, when I got back from that year in Germany, my dad gave me the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, just coincidentally. And reading that on top of having just traveled a bunch, my life was just completely changed from there. And I was like, I want to start businesses and in real estate and travel the world. So I kind of went away from the path of becoming a psychology professor and started to research investing and business building.
And this were while you were still studying? So you studied to the end, but already having the idea of starting something on your own, starting a business?
Yeah, I had one more year at school. I went to UCLA, and so I had one more year to finish my degree. I actually had a degree in psychology with a minor in German. And then afterwards, I kind of tried odd jobs, and I did try to start some businesses, but nothing really worked out. I was still so new in it, and sometimes it takes a couple of failures first before something really works.
What kind of business? Can you share
some
insights?
That's a good question, because I have some ones that almost feel embarrassing now, but
But that's right. If you don't feel embarrassed, it's
you waited too long. That's such a good quote. So one that comes to mind is, so one was a balloon animal making business. Do you know what balloon animals are? Where you twist them and stuff. So I met this guy who knew how to make balloon animals. So we had that idea. Why don't we hire balloon animal artists and then we book clients for parties and we take a cut in between and we match them. So I actually still know how to make a monkey out of balloons. It's my talent that remained, but that business didn't really work out. There were 2 business partners, and I just felt like every time we met, I always did what I said I was going to do, but they didn't. So that kind of broke down, which was a good lesson in finding the right partners if you're going to...
Holding each other accountable.
And just finding people who are really 100% committed and are going to follow through. And that, takes some practice and trial and error. But,
totally.
And then another one with some friends, we wanted to develop this program where you could teach people how to count cards. Do you know what that is? It's like for poker.
Playing poker. I think people count the cards.
To try to increase your odds of of winning money like in Vegas or whatever. So we like were designing this system on how to teach people how to count cards. That didn't really go anywhere either. So
But now you can also count the cards?
Yeah. I mean, not really well because you have to go fast and you have to do it subtly so that the security people don't realize that you're doing it.
So it's not allowed in casinos?
It's not illegal, but it's not. They don't like it either, and they've actually.
Because you're way less more.
You're more likely to win, and they want to win the money.
Yeah.
And so they've also implemented other things that make it harder for it to be possible. Like they'll take 6 decks of cards and shuffle them all in, or they'll have like a system where the cards constantly are shuffled, so you can't really predict it anymore. So so they've taken measures to go against it. So
cool. And what really worked out at the end, or what are you working on at the moment?
So as I was kind of trying these different things and it wasn't really working, and I kind of kept coming back to teaching and tutoring because I'm really good at explaining things to people if they don't understand.
Yeah.
And so
I can tell. I've attended
can
your
you
workshop.
Tell already? You attended my podcasting workshop.
It was so great. It was cool.
Thank you. Well, and you brought so much great advice to it as well. So we were a good team in teaching that.
Totally.
But so I kind of kept going back to tutoring and teaching, and I ended up doing my master's in education, and I became a teacher. So I taught high school math and psychology for 5 years. And while I did that...
Where did you do it?
I did it in Arizona. So I moved to Arizona for about 10 years, and I was living in the Tempe, Chandler area. And so while I was doing that, I ran an Austausch program. So I did an exchange program with students there with a gymnasium in Regensburg, which is going to come around in a minute. So, so that's how I learned about Regensburg. And after I taught for 5 years, I felt like I really accomplished what I wanted to do. And although I got to travel a ton because there's a lot of vacation, I still wasn't like fully fulfilling my real desire of being completely travel independent.
How did you feel this?
I just felt like I didn't belong. Like, you know, there were some teachers who had been there like 20, 30 years. And I just looked at them and I was like, I respect you, but I just don't want to be you. Like, I didn't talk the same way as other teachers. I didn't think the same way.
Yeah.
Like the second that school was over, I was on the next flight to like the other side of the world. And so I don't know, I felt different, and I just had this burning desire in me that I still wanted to start a company even though it hadn't worked yet. So I had also started teaching online psychology. So I had kind of a basis of just basic money to kind of pay my basic bills so I didn't just starve. And I decided to just quit teaching without, you didn't even know what was gonna be, and just stop.
Really?
Because you have to just jump sometimes.
Sometimes. For some people, it works better. Having a really hard cut and then being forced to invent something
swim
while flying down the cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
And some other people like the smooth transition or building a business beside. But also for me, it didn't work like building the business beside. I couldn't get that much time I needed. Yeah,
that's what I felt too, because teaching is so amazing, but it's really exhausting. Like, it's all day in front of students. And then afterwards, so much grading and so many extra meetings. So I never really had time or energy after work to be able to work on something. So it was best for me just to cut it and jump.
Yeah.
So,
when was this?
That was about 5 years ago now.
All right.
Yeah. And so I ended up starting a tutoring and test prep company, which is perfect, you know, with my background.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting my business partner, who also had experience in having started a tutoring company when he was a high school student himself. He's like a real young entrepreneur.
Wow. Where did you find him? Where did you
through a friend. I was like feeling really down one day, and I was talking with a friend, and I was like, I want to start a business, but I have no idea what to start. He's like, well, if you're going to start something, what would it be? And I'm like, I think just something with education, because that's what I'm good at and passionate about.
Yeah. It's like connecting the dots. It always helps because you're more experienced and it feels more natural when you just use your background.
Exactly. It's like, go with what you're already strong in. And he was like, I have a friend you should talk to. So just because I vocalized it, it kind of made the universe come together.
This is how it goes,
Yeah. So we started Student Tutor 5 years ago, and we focus primarily on helping high school students with math and test prep, like SAT prep and ACT prep, because it's so important, especially in the United States, in order to get into good colleges and also to earn scholarships to help pay for college, because college is not subsidized at all in the U.S. It is really, really tough. students will graduate with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. It's really bad. So
it's crazy. People are when they got out, they have lots of debt. So still they're like somehow in a bad position because they have to work for a company to get out of the debt, and then they buy a house or something, and they are again into debt, and it's like lifelong. You're always trying to catch up, and this is how they get people into the system, and this makes it even harder to step out, right?
Yeah, for sure. You just then you're like in the rat race. Even before you start a job, you're already like trying to just catch up to zero. Yeah. And so some really great things is like what a lot of students and parents don't know is that just a small increase in their SAT score often can qualify them for thousands of more dollars in scholarships, but they don't know this. So we're trying to educate them in our blog and our materials and then help them with the tools in order to do better on the exam and have the confidence to do well.
Cool. So it's an online platform where you teach with online videos, or how do you set it up?
Well, we started as only doing tutoring and one-on-one in person. But as we grew and as the technology has improved, I really wanted to be online because I thought, why only help students in Phoenix, Arizona when we can help students on Earth, like anywhere on the planet? And so we have tutoring in person, primarily in the Phoenix area, but also in different pockets around the US. And then we have online tutoring for anybody. And we've got some amazing platforms where students and tutors can write on the virtual whiteboard at the same time, pull files in, write on it, and talk and see each other. So it takes down all the barriers now with the technology, which is really cool. And then we're just rolling out right now some online prep courses as well. So it's 100% digital. It's convenient. You can do it whenever it works for you. So we've got tons of presentations, incorporating some videos, and I'm even reaching out to the clients right now for feedback. Do you guys want like a once a week or once a month, like live mini course so that they can get questions answered. So we're kind of trying to get some feedback from our clients to see what they really want to make it better.
Okay, cool. This is the status quo at the moment at this project.
What do you mean? Oh, that's up-to-date status. Exactly. Yeah, I'm even working on it here at the camp.
Great. So you also got some things done?
Yes, for sure. Which is a little hard because it's so gorgeous here, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. And beside this, you also started your own podcast, or how did this come?
Yeah, so for the past year and a half, my tutoring company has been to the point where we have amazing people on our team who are running a lot of the day-to-day. So it kind of gave me a little extra time to focus on some of my own passions too, like outside of education. So I was helping a great friend with his podcast, as he does the podcast for the Internet Marketing Association, which has over 1 million members around the world. And so he's the official voice and podcast host of there. And I was helping him on the back end with social media and doing the show notes write-ups. And so I just got really exposed to podcasts. So this is really cool.
Yeah.
So he and I started a podcast production company. So we're helping other companies who want to launch their own podcast and be seen as the industry authorities in their niche.
Like a productized service?
Yeah, we're doing a service exactly where we help companies, usually mid to bigger size companies, start their own podcast, and we also help them with a bit of the content marketing as well on the back end, so they can just have a podcast, also generate more shares and more content that they don't have to sit down and write, and we kind of like help take it off of their plate. So, and in that vein, I was like, well, if I'm going to be helping other companies start their podcast, I need to start my own too. Really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. So I started one called Copy That Pops. And it focuses on copywriting and psychology, all around online business, entrepreneurs. So like very similar, your passion, trying to look a little bit at psychology and the writing of important pieces of your marketing world. So like landing pages and maybe email sequences and social media, things that are kind of small, but can make a big impact in your business.
Totally. Very cool. And your podcast service is like out of the box, they just have to upload a file into the Dropbox and you care about everything? Yeah,
pretty much. And we really walk them through it as well, because a lot of people they don't even know what microphone to get. They don't know how to save a file. They don't know how to capture it with their guests if they do it on Skype. So we really walk them through every single step. And then once they're good to go, they just have to host the interview, send us the file, and we take care of everything else. Right. Yeah.
That's good. So this is beside your other business, the student tutor.
Yeah. So student tutor helps the high school students and families, and then pod tent marketing is the one that helps the companies that want to start the podcast, and then there's copy that pops for I have a lot of projects going on.
Yeah, that's very cool. Like us, like Philly and me, we also try lots of things, and then we quit one thing and start another thing, or start another 3 things, quit one, start another 4 things. So at the end, it was a completely mess, but it's fun just being an entrepreneur. And I had to learn that I don't have to ask anyone anymore for permission, and
so
which is
true.
so great. Just let it go and.
Right. And you don't have to apologize either. Like if you tell all your friends and family, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. And then 2 months later, you drop it and do something else. Don't feel bad, because that's part of the journey. That's part of the fun too.
Yeah, totally.
But I also struggle with that psychologically too, because a lot of my friends are like doctors and lawyers, and they just stay in one thing the whole time. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm not making as much progress as them. But I feel like sometimes with entrepreneurs, the progress is slower at first, but it has just unlimited upward potential. Whereas maybe a doctor or lawyer has higher to start with, but it stays level the whole time, kind of thing. So I like it.
Yeah, that's the thing about entrepreneurship. What also catch me, like the ultimate freedom on all different levels, and then having the opportunity or the potential to even grow like 100 times higher than anybody else, like a lawyer or a doctor or someone else.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I heard about this camp from a girl I've met on a Facebook group and interviewed her for a podcast. And then 10 days later, I'm in Greece. I never talked to any of you guys. I didn't know anything about it. Like, no one else could be able to do that if you just had a normal job. So
yeah, totally. Even though we are out there and trying to get the word out, it's still nice to see that it works, like word of mouth, and people talking to each other, and then now we checked in together into this camp.
Yeah,
this is really cool.
So cool.
Do you have any productivity hacks you can share, or from your entrepreneur experience and journey, what you would do maybe different the next time?
That's a really good question. So one of the biggest things is, if you have done anything, let's say for more than 3 months in your business, let's just use that as like a timeline. You've done it enough times that you know it well. You need to write it down step by step, baby step by baby step, and then delegate it to somebody else. So like even use something like screencastify, something I just bought. It's like $20, 20 euros or something like that, one-time fee. And it lets you record your screen with also like your face in the corner. Because I think that gives a nice extra personal feel when you can see the person like walking you through. So just do like, you know, I've been starting to lately, instead of sitting down to write a detailed email about what I want, I just do a screen capture and then send that to someone on my team, or send that to a VA and say, here's exactly what you need to do step by step, and they can see it visually. So document everything step by step written. And also with video tutorials. Yeah. And then you can pass it off to somebody. And if they ask a question, then you write down the question and then write down the answer. So now they always have something to go and review back to it. So it's like taking it out of your head helps you free yourself mentally to focus on other things, and then also empower someone else to be able to do it without feeling confused or feeling like they feel bad bugging you all the time. So I think that's great. I use Google Docs for that.
Just want to add to your first point. It's so important to write everything down and to have a structured procedure in your business. And in the beginning, we also struggled a little bit with it because it was just growing. We were excited and doing everything from gut feeling. But then I recognized I'm explaining things again and again and again. And as we grow our team now to more and more people, we also started to write it down and have screencasts and have these SOP, these standardized operating procedures where everybody can have a look inside this Google Doc, and then they directly see how does it go when I have to post-product podcast episode for Lifehacks, for instance. It makes things way, way more easier. It's a big effort, but after that you can just scale better. Yeah, it's something that takes upfront effort, like you said, but it just makes everything so much easier. And I even am partly, another thing I'm working on this camp is to do more of that, is to document more, get more out of my head and delegate more. Yeah, I didn't get it in former years when I was working for startups or someone. Before I stepped out of the companies, they always wanted me to write everything, every tiny step down, and say, oh, I just want to leave. But it's so important. Yeah, and I personally like to keep everything like in the cloud, so to speak. So on
Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever. So if I lost my computer or it just crashed, I could still get on a different computer and pull everything up and I didn't lose it. And it's easy to share without file attachments. I hate email at this point. Don't email me. So I try to also use Asana. So Asana. Sometimes when I say Asana, people think of like
Yoga.
sauna, where you're like in the heat.
Oh, sauna, yeah.
Like an actual physical, after the
sauna.
gym or whatever.
All right. Do you use any specific CRM tool?
Yeah. So, we use Spacecamp in terms of working with clients on kind of like the onboarding type of thing. So we've got Asana for internal communication and then Basecamp for external with clients. So we have all the documents they need and like different tasks that they need to check off in order to be ready for tutoring, ready for the courses and things like that. And then we also use Infusionsoft to manage our client contacts and all of our email marketing.
Do you like it? Because we were thinking about moving to Infusionsoft. Right now we are at Mailchimp and we partnered up with Convertkit. So we will move to Convertkit, I think, because we were inspired by Pat Flynn, who moved everything to Infusionsoft, and then he stopped working with Infusionsoft because he said it's very complicated or was way more hassle than he thought. So what's your opinion about Infusionsoft?
That's a good question. I think that it certainly depends on what you want to do or your business. So we jumped onto the Infusionsoft wagon a couple of years ago with the tutoring company and we love it. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We actually run all of our HR. So all of our tutor hiring process is 100% built out in Infusionsoft, which is amazing. We love that.
You can adjust it so good, right?
Yeah. And once you get the hang of it, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's manageable. But there is a bit of a learning curve at first. And I have to say their tech support is amazing. You can get on the phone, on chat, and they'll even do a screen share with you so you can actually see at the same time with each other, which is super helpful.
I love the live chats, which pops up on more and more websites. Yeah. Everybody now has these live chat options. And we're thinking about also adding one on our websites. It's so cool. Yeah. It's so service orientated.
Exactly. Just help them right away.
Yeah.
And I actually used to live in Chandler, which is where their home base is. So I've even gone to like their headquarters at like their grand opening event and all this stuff. So I have like a little bit of like personal like for them. But I have to say with these new projects I started, I was like, I don't know if I want to spend the money for my own, newer things because it is a big price tag for Infusionsoft. So in the past, since I started this other stuff, in the past 6 months or so, I started with Mailchimp. Then I tried Aweber. Then I tried Convertkit. Well, I looked at ActiveCampaign. I jumped in there and it didn't get it. Then I went to Convertkit because I was totally inspired, like you were with Pat Flynn. But then I got really mad because I couldn't do certain things I knew I could do in Infusionsoft. This is
why we never went on Convertkit.
Yeah. And now I just put all of them in Infusionsoft.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's familiar for you, and you know where to click and what happens next.
And it's so complex, but then it gives you so many options, where other ones are maybe a little easier to use for one segment of things. So I think it depends on how complex your company is and how complex it is that you want to interact with your
For instance, what already annoys me at Convertkit is that you can't give multi-user access. So we have many VAs, social media manager, marketing managers working for us, and everybody has different rules and rights in Mailchimp in preparing our newsletters, for instance. And there's just one general master login. So
interesting.
I think the target group is also more for bloggers or solopreneurs, not for like companies working with many people in there.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're just starting out and you've never tried any other one, start with like the Mailchimp for free. Start building your list. Do like stuff manually. Just work on that until you're comfortable, and then move into like Aweber, Convertkit, or ActiveCampaign, OneResponse. There's tons out there. And build your way up to it. So I would say if you're just brand new, don't just jump into Infusionsoft because it's too complex and too expensive, and you're not going to use it all really. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Right. Any more hacks? Any more tools you want to share?
Well, I guess I'm also obsessed with landing pages. So I use lead pages for landing pages.
But it's quite expensive, I think, huh?
Yeah, it's not super cheap. But if you're going to be if you're going to do a lot with it, it's not just landing pages, but also lead boxes. So like you can do an image like on your widget sidebar, where if they click it, just a pop-up clicks. It doesn't take them off the page, and they can jump into lead capture that you're giving away something for free. I joined their lead pages conversion course, certification course. So I'm almost done with that course. So I'll be able to put on my resume officially like lead pages certified. And then ClickFunnels I really like as well for landing pages, and also sequences of funnels. Like, so that ClickFunnels makes it really easy for upsells and downsells.
Yeah.
But their customer service is a little bit of a challenge. It's only texting, like it's only messaging. And sometimes that can be really hard if you're just super like into a project and you need help right now, but you have to send a message and wait a few hours and then they don't understand. So then it's like back and forth. It's a little bit hard. Sometimes it's great to get someone on the phone. But I have to say their product is great. Once you really figure it out, it's in some ways better than Lead Pages because it's more robust. So again, it depends on what you need it for. And there are some free plugins for WordPress for landing pages that you don't have to pay for at all, or it's like a one-time $20 thing. So
Great.
There's options for everybody.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and as I see, landing pages is a big passion of you. So we just committed on doing like an experiment on this podcast, and now you're gonna interview me for your podcast show, right?
Yes, I am. I know. So if you want to hear part 2, you have to come over to Copy That Pops to hear Marcus be on the hot seat.
Okay, so I would say then we shut down this episode on Lifehacks and go over to your podcast and go on with the interview. So I will just stop the record here, and thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here on the show. Was a pleasure. Thanks for being on the camp. Hopefully not the last time we see us.
Oh no, definitely not the last
somewhere
time.
in the world.
Next time I'll bring my husband and our little dog.
Yeah, why not?
If it's allowed.
We have to find a proper location and then we do it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Peace and out. Yes, yo. This was another episode of the Life Hacks Show. If you love what you're listening to and can use some of the tools and hacks we are sharing on the Life Hacks Show, I would be more than happy if you can give me a review or rating on iTunes. Follow me on facebook.com/Meurer Marcus and just ping me and give me some feedback that would mean the world to me. So long, have fun, peace and out.